This is part two of our webinar series on ERP. November, we had the webinar on choosing the right ERP software. I want to introduce and welcome Bryce Nord, Insight Director of Sales North America.
Awesome. Thank you, Vince. Appreciate it. And I'd say thanks, Vince, Mike, Matt Ried, KCMA. Feels like a little bit of a Grammy speech here, but no, I appreciate all of you guys letting us jump in and talk through kind of our knowledge in the space. I think a lot of people know us, as 2020 technologies in the past. So I just want to take a little bit to level set where we ended back in November, and and then we'll jump into a deeper dive on implementation methodologies, best practices, and what we kind of see all throughout North America with our products and with the manufacturers that are using our solutions for ERP. So just quick intro about myself, Bryce Nord. I live in Jasper, Indiana. I've been involved in the kitchen and bath industry for really the last 15 years. Been with Cyncly now for 3 years. And I also brought with myself Ryan Sporer, who you're going to hear from a bit later. Ryan heads up our professional services group here in North America. And they are really the boots on the grounds working day to day with manufacturers. And I would say at any given time, we have between 15 and 20 implementations going on for our Insight product. And his group is the one that does that. So Ryan's going to really dive deeper into what does an implementation look like? What kind of methodologies do we use? What is the process for diving into this, somewhat or very intimidating project that many of you may be thinking about getting into? And then he's also going to give just a quick dip into the live environment of Insight and what you can expect. And I would say, typically, this is probably an hour and a half conversation, even fast. So we're going to try to do the fastest version of this we've ever done in the next 30 to 40 minutes here. But I'm sure there's going to be even more follow-up discussions after this. So thank you all for taking the time. Good afternoon, good morning, for those that may be on the West Coast, but we'll go ahead and jump in. So who is Cyncly? Just a quick reminder, again, most people are familiar with our 2020 design product. Cyncly is really just launched in January of this year as a rebranded organization that makes up all of those brands that you see in the middle of the chart there. We specialize in software solutions for really the home space, the office furniture space. So kitchen and bath is really our bread and butter, our focus. But we do focus on a lot of different areas within the home. And again, most of you know us for 2020 design. I'm sure many of you use 2020 design for your go-to-market strategy, for how you, whether it's retailers, dealers, builders, whatever that point of sale solution looks like, you're probably using 2020 design. And 2020 design in North America makes up 84% of market share for professional design software, meaning if you look at the overall kitchen and bath industry in North America, roughly 84% of your orders are flowing through 2020 design. So the great part about Cyncly and what we can do when we partner with manufacturers like all of you on the call is help not only on the point of sale go-to-market side, but also what we're diving into today, which is more of our manufacturing solutions with our ERP and really connecting the dots from one end to the other. And I would say that's really the biggest differentiator for Cyncly as a company, as you're looking at ERP solutions and how we can really partner with you across the board. Just very brief, some more introduction here. When it comes to our focus with manufacturers, which is the group that I lead here in North America, we have 4 main offices globally. In the United States, it would be in Cary, North Carolina. That's really our headquarters. But a lot of our leadership team is also based out of our office in Northern Italy. And so we have a very robust platform that's not just North America specific, that does reach globally. And so that does give us a lot of insight into what manufacturers are doing all throughout other parts of the world as well. But when we bring it back into the Insight solution, the ERP solution, I would say the real differentiator here is that Insight was designed, built, and is tailored for the wood manufacturing space. It was specifically built originally for kitchen and bath manufacturers, for flat panel manufacturing. And so again, that's going to be our bread and butter. You can see a lot of names here on the right. A couple of shout outs on the call. I know Matt Ried's on the call with River Run and Bishop Cabinets. So, you know, you'll see some names on the right side there that may be, you know, $5-10 million in revenue, others that are $2-3 billion in revenue. And that's where Insight is very unique in the sense that you're never going to outgrow the solution, and it is modular based, so that as a small manufacturer, and for those of you, you know, within the Small Business Council, it is also a digestible project that you can kick off even on a smaller scale. And so globally, we've got 170 manufacturers, the majority of those in the kitchen and bath space, using Insight, which is our ERP solution. Whether they're in implementation, they're in live, or in their enhancement phase, there's a lot of projects going on. And so this real briefly is just kind of a summary of, again, where we left the conversation back in November of what is Insight, what should you look for when choosing an ERP. And this kind of shows all the different areas that you can manage an order from incoming, from whether it's a kit file from 2020 design or a different point of sale design software, that's no problem. And all of the areas in which we can impact and manage on the shop floor, all the way out to shipping. And so, again, very high level, but I just wanted to walk through again kind of who is Cyncly, what is Insight, because that's really what we're going to be focused on today, is uncovering our methodologies for implementing the Insight software, which can very much be related to other ERP solutions. I would just say that, you know, because Insight is built specifically for this industry, it means less customizations that need to be made, so that it's a lot easier to update and progress and manage in the future. And so I'm going to turn it over now to Ryan Spohr, who again leads up our professional services group, to really dive into what he and his team do on a daily basis with helping manufacturers implement ERP projects. So Ryan, I'll toss it over to you.
All right, thanks, Bryce. I'll get to sharing the screen here. And so yeah, as Bryce said, this is not typically done in 20 to 30 minutes here. Our discussions are usually quite longer, quite a lot longer. The first steps into my team, and I should probably introduce, I'm Ryan Spohr. I've been the Pro Services Manager here for North America. I am the leader of 18 here in North America and growing. So if you know anybody, yeah, send them our way. We're always looking for some new talent. We are the point of contact after sale. So we will take you down the journey after the sales has been done. We typically are involved during the sales aspect as well, but yeah, we really take hold after that signature has been done. So at the point where we'll start our project is within the setup of your environment. So my team not only will help you on the implementation, we will be consulting you on your hardware and your hardware setups, even within your networks entirely. This isn't enterprise software, so there's quite a lot to take into consideration, but it is scalable. So as we sit here, I will be demoing off a single machine that is going to be able to run all of Insight. Now, you take that with a grain of salt, because I will be only one person leveraging that environment. So these will need to scale up per your needs, per your organization. So basically what we have here is how we do that scaling. Centralized is our server. Built on sides of that, we have application servers and bill of material processing. These are workstations. The more of them that you add, the quicker your response times are. And all the way out to an on-premise, your client applications, where client devices where people like your shop floor, like your purchasing team, your scheduling teams will be interacting with the data on that server. This is quite a large conversation here as well, but I did want to just bring out that there is a network required. There is a decent amount of consideration here, but again, we will talk you through your minimums up to your maximums, and how you can make this palatable through your journey. As an ERP is being put into place, our main objective is success here. So we do want to hold that at the highest of priority. So a lot of consideration, a lot of discussions are going to need to be happening on the outsides prior to any installation, even any data setup within those installations. We'll want to talk through with you quite a lot of your the uses of your other resources. So we will want to make sure that we're efficient. This is going to be your project. This isn't anything that we will set up all of your master data and we're going to hand you an environment. This is something that we work with you. We extract it from other systems, extract data from other systems and bring this in. But because of that, we will focus on some training of how to use the software at almost a development level, but it's an implementation level. I don't want to scare anyone to think that this is an IT project. This is a subject matter expert project. So we will want to leverage the team that you have that is going to actually be using the software at the end. We may not be using your leads, but we will be using subject matter experts, maybe junior members of your team, to populate data, to test the data and run through your proof of concepts. So we'll be talking training, data architecting, how we watch the system, some workshops. We like to show you back as much as we can of what your return on this investment will look like, as well as the benefits of this. And then we always will leave this with an improvement area. So at the ends of all of these slides, you'll always see that there's another level to this. We'll want to get you live. We'll want to be returning that investment, but we'll always plan for the next steps. We'll work hard to talk through your project team. We'll plan this project out as deep as we possibly can, and then we'll put in certain controls, meaning highlight reporting, steering calls, and just overall tools that we have to track the progress of your project. These can be as formal or as informal as you want, and a lot of times as needed. A smaller team will not require quite as extensive of a project organization as a larger project could be. Again, I'm really ratcheting through these quite quickly, but phase one, our typical, we're going to get everything installed. We're going to make sure that we have this working. We do have a startup database where we'll be able to prove this through. You'll be able to watch your system work. You'll be able to see how this is working. Maybe we do need to consider some performance issues or just some general hangups so that we can test this through. But after that, we will be kicking this off. A lot of project planning will be happening, your process documentation and your training all happening at this first phase or second phase, but very early on in the project. As we're running through these four, we aren't entering very much information at all into the system, but we are learning about each other. Phase 3, yeah, it's just a further refinement of this. The main aspect of phase 3 is that we will want to go into a proof of concept. And so we'll, instead of now being our startup database where we're running through our system data, we will be populating just enough information so that you and your team can see how the system is flowing, the data is presented to you, and then we will build on that. Hopefully you will build on this, you and your team will build on this with our guidance, and we'll start to then overcome more subtleties within. The proof of concept is intended to be your happy path to run through to make this as clean as possible. And then as we progress, we will be taking into that 10% of everyone's problem childs, as we all probably have. And then again, phase 4, optimization of the system. So continually progressing. You will have the skills necessary to continue to progress this, but yeah, again, we're there for your guidance. We've seen a few of these before, so we'll help you down that optimization phase. Kind of a little bit of redundant on this, but yeah, still the same steps within this, the implementations, and then we like to point out some of the critical aspects of the software or of the implementation that are so very important. We do want to build that team. We want to have access to that team, and we want to make sure that you're budgeting this and understanding. And then when I say budgeting, just budgeting their time to make sure that we've either pulled enough off of them or given them enough of a backup that they can focus on this. We will want the involvement at the correct time. So that is part of the project plan. If we can see if this is a 10-person implementation project on your side, we aren't going to require everyone full-time on these projects, but we will want to bring them in at the right points within the project. Management of that scope. Insight's very big. If you're implementing only the front portions of this software, we can see some greediness, right? So scope creep is real. We want to keep that initial scope very short. We want you to start to see this return, and then we want to teach you how to manage that change so that you can continue to grow this on top of it. But that initial management of that scope and not putting every single piece and part of and piece of the software in place at once, this oftentimes leads to an extended lead time before we can go live with anything at all. So the third bullet point there, management of scope, is a very big conversation. So then setup of data, and then ultimately training the end users. So this is another reason why we like to have your subject matter experts involved in the setup of data. They will ultimately become your end user trainers as well. So if they have the buy-in, then it's much easier for them to convey that across the rest of the company. These are just our main critical points, the points we see most often that maybe do fall through a little bit. Okay, so give me 1 second here. I'll jump into a live environment there. I believe I know there's got to be some questions in this, but we'll jump back into that as soon as possible. Great. Get one more. Right. Is everyone looking at a dashboard? Did I successfully transition?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. All right, great. So this is a live demo of the solution. This is obviously a demo environment, so I'll be pushing through maybe not exactly what we need to see, but we'll we've done our best to create what is a good likeness of many of our companies. So the dashboard component that I have up currently is an overall dashboard component, but I do really want to stress that this is what we're working so hard for. So we can see all aspects of your business, from revenue all the way down to manufacturing, maybe even some kind of rejection, inventory levels, whatever it may be that is most concerning to you. We like to build these into these dashboard components. Our dashboards are now available browser-based, so we are bringing these through in a mobile manner to all devices. Anything with these browsers now, we can and will make you a website host, which is ultimately allowing you then to share these outside of your network, or we can keep these in. This is again part of our consultative discussions that will bring. Do you want to share this outside of your network? What kind of security levels are you? But regardless, for mobility reasons, we can take these all the way out. And yeah, this is the end result of a lot of effort. Yeah, just a few kind of examples of what we have going on here and how these populate out. I'll step back into these other tabs a little bit later on, but our browser forms do also allow us to interact with the shop floor on the shop floor, so that we don't require full PCs on the shop floor any longer. We can now have tablets, phones, much more simple and less costly devices that are a little bit more resilient to the sawdust that we're all battling. So I'm gonna come into Insight, and am I doing okay on time here? Trying to go pretty quick. Good. Still?
Yeah, you're good, Brian. Take your time.
All right. So right now we talked about how design is the front end, and it is 80% of how orders are being placed currently. I just wanted to expose that how that interacts with Insight. So right now I'm in a 2020 design file, and we can see, you know, a decent list of cabinets here, configured in several different ways. These are done by your dealers. These can be done by internal personnel as well. So we can walk these through, or several different people can be walking these through. And Insight is ready now to digest these. So as your point of sale has occurred, where we get some sign-offs, we're ready now to bring this into Insight to manufacture. This is a somewhat seamless integration. I want to make that sound too simple. There are some setups and some mappings that need to occur, but it can look as simple as taking a kit file, and I'll just copy this and paste this into a folder. We're going to absorb this now. This file goes away, and it will now be entered into Insight. So we will now come into Insight where we've just drawn that file in. This was done yesterday. Let's see if we get a new one today. It take a bit here to bring. It's a decent size order. There it is. So I have an order now that has been created in Insight. What we've done here is we've released a lot of hand keying. We've brought in a lot of information about the customer that has submitted the file. We have their record in, so we're validating information. Things like addresses can be triggered as well as your product. So just in that amount of time, I've drawn in that entire 2020 design kit file with features, with options selected, and we're able to review this inside of Insight. So With our engineering model, we're looking now at this at a cabinet by cabinet level, but instead of looking at it from a designer's eye, we're looking at it from an engineering eye, where you can now start to see the doweling, the drilling, everything that belongs on this this cabinet. These, as I highlight the next and the next and the next, we'll look at these different models. At this point, we are ready to engineer, and we can create bills of material against these cabinets, so that as we're dropping them on the schedule, we are now able to announce to purchasing what is coming down the pipeline, what needs to be on the shelves. We are leveraging inventory values, so we can even ask, when will we be ready to manufacture these cabinets based on our capacity planning. Yeah, just stepping through quite a lot of this base three drawer cabinet. We're very limited selections, but you can see the basics. We got our dimensions, we understand a door style, a drawer style, a finish. Maybe we're allowing some toe height adjustment. If we do decide that we want to adjust these, we can adjust outside of what design has said. We've now brought the order in, so now we can interact with these orders and increase the toe height from 4 to 6. I could make that even more pronounced if we want, but we are interacting in real time with that model, so that a last minute call comes in that we want to change these orders. Here we go. We're ready to react. We don't have to go back and redraw these full orders. But yeah, that's how we're interacting on a sales order. Save that. We are pricing. We are a pricing engine as well, but I did want to focus on a little bit of the scheduling of this. So we do organize all sales orders then into into production orders. So we are planning some release. We give some production dates. We assign orders to these production orders. So sales orders are assigned to production orders, and we're ready then to send them through. But prior to that, we want to take a look at what this is doing to our capacity. So we have forms called master scheduling, and of course master data is supporting this, but we are able then to look at, if I schedule these orders, what am I going to do to capacity? I can see that I'm looking good here as far as not exceeding capacity, maybe not great because I'm a little under capacity, but as we approach 100%, 120% of capacity, we can start to notify you that these may be sticky points on that day. We don't do too much to stop this, other than let you know and then give you the tools to either reschedule these work orders, or yeah, maybe even just decide that you're going to absorb it via some overtime. So as we're looking at what the parts and pieces are that comprise this 70%, then yeah, we can make a decision on what we want to do to change the dates. Maybe I want to buy the item instead of producing it. So a lot of different tools here. More of the software is to help you to maintain your product. So the 2020 design catalog is your product, but we also have the ability to maintain your product in Insight. It's a necessity. So as we build a face frame catalog in this world, I can see that I have different products that are available for consumption. So these are ready to go onto our sales order. And this is where we are controlling what we can and cannot sell. So we are protecting ourselves from an order that's going to come in with maybe a door style and finish or species that is not compatible. So I'll kind of step back into the scheduling aspect, but as we have put in some scheduling within, and we understand when we do want to produce, we will release this to the plant. And that will bring us then back full circle here to what we refer to as our shop floor screens. Each checkpoint within your shop floor will have their to-do. So instead of packets of paper heading out to your shop floor, we will want to say for the assembly department, here's the cabinets you need to build and on which day. You can see I'm a little behind schedule here, but these are the cabinets that we are going to assemble, and we can see where they are in their life cycle. So we're seeing some of these cabinets explaining that they're at the kitting department. Some of them that are just through the CNC. So and some of them that are at the initial stages. So the assembler knows which cabinets are ready to be assembled, and to avoid the ones that maybe are not. So if we want to come in and take a look, we can see even then where all the parts and pieces are at currently, as well as have the visibility to see what the parts look like, to make sure that they have the right parts, and carry any other pieces of information that shop floor user may need. So this is the assembly department. This is a typical frame. These are adjustable, 100% adjustable to what your needs are, to what your sticky points are within your project. So we can dial these in to may have more or less information. It can be less, can be more. So we can talk through how you want to present it. So that's assembly level. I have also the sub-assembly levels or component levels as well. So instead of now a cabinet, we're going to see here that they're expected to build 25 doors. This is our door department, so we can then say these 25 doors need to be built together as a group. However you want to determine that group, but again, we're not hiding anything, and we're trying to expose to them what they should be looking at. They're a little small on this one, but these are dimensions, where to be expecting drilling, anything like this that is valuable to this door builder. Again, reacting to that engineering that we did just create from the initial kit file. And we can take this all the way through then to shipping screens, where we can load trucks via barcode scanning, amongst quite a lot of other areas, and every day growing even more. I think we could take this into, again, a much larger conversation, but we are handling things not only like the shop floor assistant, where there's packaging, inventory counting, the shipping, the unloading, but we are also able to handle field services, for your maintenance department, engineering services, anything else that is not within your manufacturing. We are able to now create and schedule service orders against. So a machine goes down, not only will that impact production, but we will also announce to your maintenance department that machine is down, and we can create a service order against it. And then also field services. So things like field measure, site readiness, maybe the inspection of installed product, even installations themselves. We try to organize through so that everyone is in the circle. Everyone understands where the order came from and how these orders ended. The BI aspect of this, as well then as assets and asset management, your machines, on the shop floor. We can organize them. We can understand what has been repaired on them. We can understand parts that have been purchased and replaced, and then that way you can see the frequency of this. It works hand in hand with our service management, so you can see quite a lot of the maintenance of these machines and the cost of those machines. And then a few other sysadmin aspects are coming to our browser now, but these are more in depth in our full solution. Bryce, I think I can leave it there. Or if we want to, do you have any other aspects you want me to point out?
Yeah. No, I think that was great, Ryan. I mean,
Okay.
again, to the full group, we could certainly go on for hours here, into the depths on each section. I guess I might open it up to see, Matt Ried, I know you're currently going through the implementation phase, you're close to kind of going live. I don't know if there's anything that you wanted to add in to the group that, maybe a value that you wish you knew kind of going into it, or how the implementation has gone. But then if there's any other questions, if anyone has anything to add into the chat, but otherwise we can start to wrap it up. But Matt, anything else on your end?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, thanks, Bryce, and thanks, Ryan, for going through that. I could speak to starting from the beginning. ERPs are very, it's a big animal, and we started, we're a smaller cabinet facility, and I could say I didn't have a lot of knowledge when it comes to the implementation and just the physical environment and the OS environment. So it was all new to me. So it was a little overwhelming at first, but I knew that this solution could solve a big problem that we had, and that's getting all the information to a central core that many could tap into, and it's really a beginning to end solution. It's wonderful to have all the data in one software. We're not trying to communicate with using multiple softwares. It streamlines things, and but it's big, but at the same time, the way that Insight can deliver it is in the module states, where you can just bite a piece at a time, do your data setup, and really add modulars as you go, or you need them. But yeah, I guess that's what I have to interject.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt. And I guess with that, I'll leave, if there's no other questions here, or maybe there is one that came in here.
Yeah. If you can see that, the question is all this done on premise, or is there a cloud element to it?
Yeah, no, that's great. This is on-prem. And Ryan, I know you had one slide that kind of showed the physical hardware environment. I don't know if you want to speak to kind of the reasoning for on-prem there.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously with the browser, the browser's browser-enabled version of this coming forward, where we are anticipating more and more people wanting to be in the cloud, and we do have some that have hosted this in the cloud. Now, I will say that this is preferred to be an on-prem by more than not. So we do prefer to see a server or servers on location, and we are interacting with them. Now there's multi-plant functionality, so there are some considerations of whether we're technically in the cloud at that point or not. But yeah, this is initially this was set up for an on-prem solution, but I can say that we are somewhat migrating and preparing ourselves for more and more cloud, just not quite a 100% there yet.
Bryce, another question, and we were talking earlier about how this is a solution for smaller shops as well as as large as you can get, and a smaller shop can implement this, and as they grow, it fits their needs as big as they can possibly get. which brings to the question: is this a subscription-based pricing, or is this, how's the
Yep.
pricing work?
Yeah, no, pricing is subscription based. So, like most software companies, this is kind of no different there. And I would say that what makes it scalable for a small business as well is once you have purchased the core, the meat of what you're wanting to implement, whether it's a full ERP and MES only, or parts of that ERP that you want to build upon, really what scales and pricing and is the differentiator between a small manufacturer versus one of the largest in the business is really the user licenses and the number of plants. So as you need more full users, that's really where the scaling comes into place from a pricing perspective. So it makes it approachable to small businesses, but also makes sense on the ROI that you're getting for a larger business when you add more numbers of license to it. Why it scales in that manner. So, and happy to dive into more details around that with anyone that wants to. I see is training unlimited, and Ryan, feel free to jump in at any
Sure.
time.
Yeah, so right now training is not unlimited. We do have classes that we will require someone to attend. So these range from a product configuration class all the way into the system classes. So we have them Sys 100, configuration 100, engineering 100, engineering 200 classes that we will offer. These are migrating to a more of a learn on your own solution, where you can log in, do these at your leisure. Currently, most of them are almost completely a classroom training, but again, we are migrating that to something that's easier for everyone to do and not taking 3 solid days away from your current jobs to do this. So, but not unlimited as of yet.
And then, Julie, I see your comment about Almoxy. It'd be great to set up some time with you individually, but just high level. We are actually partnering with Almoxy for an integration directly from 2020 design. So I know there's a handful of clients we're already working on, and so I can definitely fill you in on more of that development if you're already using Almoxy.
Bryce, another question just came in, but before you get to that, there was something in the chat about, can you talk about the length of time for implementation for 25 and 50 cabinet shops?
Yeah, I could definitely can. The length of time is very subjective. So as we spoke on that, it's the amount of time that you can dedicate to these projects is oftentimes what drives the timeline on these. Usually you're not looking at less than a year on many of these. Now this all falls into how much scope we also do. So as we've announced, there's modules to this, but if you're looking for a fairly substantial front to back of this, you're going to be working on this for a year. But if you're looking at doing in import and releasing to your production at a higher level, maybe we're going to forego inventory. Things like this can shorten your implementation time to go live. We're never really you're never really done. I don't have any customers that have said, hey, we've reached the extent of the software and we are officially 100% complete. It's with development and with all the advantages, we just continue to grow on this. So yeah, well, a lot of factors into that.
And then also, Ryan, David mentioned just how Insight interacts with other software, so CRMs, accounting, etc.
Yeah, definitely accounting we like to interact with, or we need to interact with. I don't want to say that we are not doing any accounting within Insight. There is job costing. We are doing inventory valuations. So there is quite a lot of this happening. We do maintain GL accounts in Insight, and we can bring them to your accounting platform. So if there's an overarching accounting package that you're using with your organization, we do integrate with that. Microsoft Business Central, Sage Intacct, QuickBooks, these are becoming more and more common on there, but we have had some outliers, even to Oracle. Have we integrated? We do play well with others, and that does include like a CRM or another order entry tool. Bryce kind of brought that up of there are other ways to bring orders into Insight so that we can engineer and schedule them. There's no doubt about that. We obviously prefer one method, but yeah, we'll work with others. And as far as CRM, there are aspects of CRM within Insight that maybe you don't need the full sales force. We are recognizing that we can do a pretty good job of being your CRM. And we can make this information available to your sales team via the web. So yeah, maybe you don't need to require that whole Salesforce expense any longer. And we do have some setup that we've refined to bring you things like a CRM as well. But we have integrated, I will say, with many other entities. APIs, well documented on their side, will help us to integrate with almost anything. But yeah, we don't hold back.
Bryce, can you see there's a couple more questions?
Let's see here. Sorry, I was just answering one.
The Synapse.
Synapse.
What's the big differentiator?
Yeah.
Differentiator.
Quite honestly, I'm not as familiar with Synapse. Ryan, are you?
No, I am not.
Yeah, Energy or Synapse.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have seen Energy. I just think the extent of where Energy is, it's just from what I understand, a smaller solution. We have never integrated with them. We do usually come up against them, but I guess it's just the same techniques, maybe just not on as large of a scale in Energy. Again, those Synapse I'm not familiar with.
Yeah, and I know those are anonymous, but if you want to reach out, I'll reply with my email. We can dig in there and spend some time. Okay. Well, I think that, yeah, it looks like that's it on the questions. So thank you all again for taking the time. I know apologies, Mike and Matt and Vince. We went over.
Sorry, it went as fast as I could.
Doesn't surprise me, but I'd say that's the quickest we've done that in so far. But I will extend the offer. I mean, a lot of good questions, a lot of good engagement. Happy to jump in individually with any of you. And I know we've also talked in the past potentially about if there's enough of you that are really interested to dive deeper and spend some time. Maybe it's something where in Q1 we could put together and sponsor a session. You know, as an example, maybe it's in Des Moines and we rent out a room and bring some people in to really talk through in depth Insight and ERPs, and really just in a discussion based manner, spending the day together. What that would allow us to do is maybe in the afternoon, head over to White River and at Matt's facility and actually see the software live. You know, Matt does a great job with a clean plant, and it's really a digestible format to really see all the scan checkpoints and everything. Anything like that, we're open to. We're happy to help support, you know, the KCMA and the Small Business Council. So if anyone's of interest of that, you know, reach out after the webinar, and we can pencil something in for Q1 here after the holidays. So thank you all for the time. And yeah, have a great holiday season, and reach out if we can help.
Thank you, Bryce, and Ryan, and we will be sending out a recording of the presentation, and if and the slide deck if you have that available, Bryce.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Okay.